Girl breaks down when she sees why teachers really called her in front of school. The end of the year Christmas concert was just beginning when Santa crashed through the doors asking if a girl was there. Just as suddenly as he came in, he left, leaving all the children quiet and expectant. A little red wagon with a huge white ribbon is wheeled on, holding a very special gift inside. The school Christmas recital would begin exactly as they had rehearsed it for weeks, except that tonight there was an audience for the first time, and the children were full of nerves. Tonight they had their parents and families to impress with their singing. Filing up on stage dressed in their red holiday sweaters, they waited nervously to begin. The music teacher took her place in front of the stage of children, ready to coax and direct them through their medley of Christmas tunes and carols. Every child was different. Some loved the limelight, while others had some nerves and stage fright. But tonight they'd forget all about that. Something special was about to happen. "Ho, ho, ho!" came the bellowing voice from next to the stage, bursting through the auditorium doors, followed by, "Do you have a Natalie Stroud singing here? We have a big surprise for Natalie." And as quickly as he had appeared, Santa strode out of the room, leaving scores of children waiting for something to happen. Her singing teacher had disappeared while Santa had been distracting everyone with his big voice and a cryptic message. She reappeared towing a big red dragon slowly behind her. In it was a giant box wrapped up with a white bow, but the children couldn't see what everyone else could. The box was open on one whole side and carrying a very special and precious clue for Natalie. The teacher left the gift right in front of Natalie, and she couldn't contain her curiosity. Gingerly touching the top of the box, she stretched up on her tippy toes to try to see what was inside that was causing the audience to murmur with delight. She caught a glimpse of what was inside and smiled, but she wasn't sure what was going on, so she looked again. It was difficult to see from the top angle she had, so she tried to make her way around the other children who were also curiously sneaking peeks into the present. Everyone was a bit confused. Natalie thought that the baby was very cute, but didn't know why on earth she would be getting one for Christmas, and then it clicked. This sweet baby looked very familiar. In fact, she'd seen the little girl during some video chats and in family photographs. It was none other than her niece. At that moment, she realized that she wasn't getting a baby, but the baby was the clue to what she was getting for Christmas, or rather, who she would get to spend Christmas with this year. Natalie put her hand to her face, and tears started leaking through her eyelids and streaming down her face. She knew exactly who was here. Watching everything from the wings of the stage, Kylie saw her little sister, confused at first, and then understanding dawned on her face, and then the tears. She couldn't wait any longer. Kylie walked out onto the stage and straight to Natalie, wrapping the little girl in her arms. The perfect Christmas surprise had taken a bit of planning, though. The girl's mother had actually reached out to the principal of Natalie's school and the music teacher in order to orchestrate this elaborate Christmas surprise present and family reunion. Santa was, in actual fact, the principal himself, happy to dispense happiness under the jolly man's red suit. Natalie's older sister, Kylie, is part of the United States Air Force and had been stationed hundreds of miles away for months. In fact, Natalie had never met her niece in person before either. It was the best Christmas gift she could have imagined. She said she didn't need anything else for Christmas. Natalie's mother said because Sissy was home. It kind of took her a couple of times looking at her to realize, hey, that's my niece, because we'd only seen pictures of her or seen her through Skype. So she looked over the box a couple times and then was like, oh, wait a minute, I know this kid. When she realized it, you could see her face, the tears just started rolling. Her mom says to the camera, it had been a long 10 months without her big sister. She'd always looked up for her advice and support. Her big sister had been her hero, but everything changed when Kylie decided to enlist in the American Air Force and become a first basic airman, and in her short time there, an airman. It was a difficult time for both girls. Like all military-based training programs, being in the Air Force puts all enlistees through intense and grueling physical challenges and teaches each candidate the military's ways of doing things. Kylie loved the structure and regulations of the job and quickly learned the core skills needed to work in the Air Force. Back at home, Natalie was trying to be as brave as her sister with the changes that her family was going through, after her sister was enlisted in the Air Force. There are huge adjustments and realignments that every family goes through when someone leaves, be it for a job or perhaps college. But for Natalie, it was harder than that. The military was a unique challenge that simply going to college doesn't present. Things that Natalie worried about. Was her sister safe? What kind of hardships was she facing? And where exactly was she? She was hundreds of miles away, and she hadn't been back in so long. The reunion between the two was Natalie's best Christmas present, not just because her hero was back home, but she was also relieved that she was safe and sound. Even though Natalie did know that her sister wasn't really in danger, she was, after all, a new mom. Kaylee had started off just like any other enlistee, with basic training. Once becoming an airman, she could move on to tech training, which is only conducted at several Air Force bases throughout the United States. This is where Kylie would learn her career and choose her path: medical services, air traffic control, aircraft repair, computers and networking, or her dream, becoming a pilot. Military reunions are so moving and exceptional, especially when it's around this time of year. There have been a lot of different videos of siblings coming home to surprise their families during big events such as birthdays, graduations, and of course, Christmas.